Basement View. Well, good evening. Good evening. How's it going? I remember that. What was that? That was old Hitchcock. Hey, it's me. How's it going? I was reminiscing way back in the day. Good evening. Old Hitchcock. Yeah, anyway. Man, we're here today. It's Wednesday. July 9th. July 9th. Yeah, that's it. And we're here. This evening, it's going to go how it goes. I am going to I'm just going to comment this evening. Hey, what's up, James? I'm just going to comment this evening on I'm gonna focus on this past week, less than a week actually, about 6 days. The last 6 days. Now, we all been here. We all been on this planet. Wasn't nobody absent from the planet. Okay, so we all been here. Everybody knows what went on. We're going to recap tonight the last 6 days here in the United States under the Flim Flam Man. Okay, this is what we going to do. How you doing, man? You all right? Everything good with you? Since we talked, I was thinking, and I was just, I had to go back and think about everything that's transpired. And I thought, man, what a week. All good. All right. I thought, what a week that this administration has had. Okay? This administration has had what has to be one of the worst weeks in history for 1 week. Okay? Let's recap by looking at some videos. We're just going to recap the last 6 days. Okay? And let's start with Friday through the weekend. Friday through the weekend. Let's start with that. Let's start with Friday through the weekend. From Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Okay? This was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let's check this out.
Still trying to get a grasp on the full scope of those horrifying floods in Texas. A few states away, North Carolina, Chantal, as that system was named, dropped 10 inches of rain, causing massive flooding there as well. In fact, just moments ago, North Carolina Governor Josh Stein visited some of those damaged areas, and CBS News correspondent Chanel Call, she monitored that visit and has the very latest on the deadly flooding there and elsewhere. What's the latest out of North Carolina? It looks like Texas is getting a lot of coverage, but we also have coverage there in North Carolina as well.
Yeah, that's right. And in North Carolina this hour, the focus there is on cleanup. 2 people we know died, and several communities like Alamance, Durham, Chatham, Orange, Moore, and Person counties, they've all seen really devastating flooding from Tropical Depression Chantal. Now, today, Governor Josh Stein, he toured some of the hardest hit areas, including this part of Lake Michael Park, to survey some of the damage. Take a listen.
We all collectively owe our words of appreciation to the engineers and the contractors for the town of Mebane. Similarly, in Asheville, their big drinking water reservoir, just a couple years before Hurricane Helene hit, they put in a new spillway. Had that spillway not been installed, and it was a decision made by a couple county commissioners with local government folks back about 15, 20 years ago, had they not done that and that dam breached, the deaths would have been catastrophic. Thousands of people in this state would have died. Thank God that's not the story.
And Reed, Governor Stein also went on to say that these kinds of projects do require investment from the public in the form of taxes, and the state is sort of working now to find ways to cover any budget shortfalls from federal funding cuts. Now, the impact of all of that active weather on Sunday is still being felt across the state today. In North Carolina, thousands of people are still in the dark. And Reed, the Department of Transportation is saying dozens of roads in that state are still closed this hour.
And with breaking news, yet another deadly flash flood emergency unfolding right now, this time in New Mexico.
A river in the south central part of the state, the Rio Ruidoso, rose to a record-breaking level of 20 feet, washing away homes. Emergency crews conducting dozens of swift water rescues, but they could not save everyone. ABC's Lionel Moise begins our coverage.
This morning, gut-wrenching video of a home swept away in Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Oh my God, dude.
The area prone to flash floods and mudslides after a wildfire last year. At least 3 people confirmed dead overnight, including 2 children. Multiple homes destroyed. The mayor speaking with the National Weather Service.
And they were updating us constantly, which they've been doing every day since monsoon started. So that's why we were really caught off guard, because we knew it was coming in, but it just intensified so quickly.
In neighboring Texas, a massive increase in the number of people missing in the Hill Country flood disaster. At least 173 people now unaccounted for.
We will not stop until every missing person is accounted for. Know this also. There very likely could be more added to that list.
At least 110 deaths are confirmed, many of them children. 27 girls and counselors were killed at Camp Mystic along the Guadalupe River. 5 campers and a counselor still missing, but these 2 sisters survived.
From our cabins, we could see the highway, and you usually can't see that, so we could see it all the way past all the trees that used to be there, and then we realized, like, we can't stay here. We just looked at the camp and saw that it was, like, unlivable, and that's when we got news that people had vanished from their cabins, and that's when we realized, like, truly something was terrible happened.
Across Kerr County, first responders are combing through debris with traces of children scattered, like this novel and a camp t-shirt. Pastel-colored trunks now lined up. Records obtained by ABC News show just 2 days before the flood, state officials signed off on Camp Mystic's emergency plans. Satellite images show the area before and after the devastation. The water rising 26 feet in just 45 minutes, bulldozing a path of total destruction.
I've come to accept my parents are gone.
Robert Brake has been searching debris since Friday after his parents were swept away in their cabin.
Maybe not be able to find my parents under this tragedy, but maybe we can help somebody else find theirs and have some closure and peace.
Others hoping for a miracle.
I gotta believe that they are alive and they're just out of service.
Canines are playing a crucial role searching for the missing.
The dogs are the scent detectors. The firefighters are the victim locators. So these guys will come back and check.
Many residents are asking why more wasn't done to warn residents.
Who's to blame? Know this. That's the word choice of losers. The way winners talk is not to point fingers. They talk about solutions. What Texas is all about is solutions.
The topic of a flood warning system for Kerr County was discussed in commissioners' meetings at least 20 times since 2016, but concerns about the cost and the noise delayed action. Rescue teams planning to use a grid system to painstakingly search for the missing along a 125-mile stretch of the Guadalupe River.
Okay. That's the weekend. Okay? That's over the weekend. Now, 173 still missing. 125-mile search area. 125 miles of search grid. 173 still missing. Over 100 dead already. Okay. That's the weekend. All right? That's the weekend. Okay. We got Sunday and Monday. Over Sunday and Monday. And I don't mean to laugh about this, but check this out. This is Sunday, Monday. Here's what goes on.
Overnight, Russia launches its largest drone attack on Ukraine since the beginning of the war. Ukrainian officials say the massive aerial assault involved more than 700 drones, but it was largely repelled. Moscow's escalation follows a remarkable 48 hours in the White House, where President Trump yesterday vented his frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin, something you don't see that often.
We get a lot of bullshit thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Trump calling BS in that cabinet meeting. He also said Ukraine would have the weapons it needs to defend itself. It's a notable turn for the president. Just last week, his administration paused the delivery of some missiles to Ukraine. Our Caitlin Collins asked him about that yesterday.
Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We wanted to put defensive weapons because Putin is he's not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who ordered the pause last week?
I don't know. What did you tell me?
I think that's a question for the Pentagon.
Go ahead.
That was awkward because Pete Hegseth, his Secretary of Defense, was sitting right there with him. And new CNN reporting on what happened behind the scenes gives you some insight. Multiple sources telling CNN Hegseth did not give the White House a heads up before he authorized that pause on weapons shipments to Ukraine last week, and that the administration began scrambling after they found out. CNN's Zach Cohen has the new reporting for us from Washington. You helped break this story. What are you learning, and what the awkward moments as you're sitting there watching this play out, knowing the president apparently didn't have a clue that the pause happened at Hegseth's command?
Yes, Sarah, it's pretty remarkable. Obviously, the Pentagon and White House not in lockstep over this decision to pause arms shipments to Ukraine. And it's an episode that really does underscore the haphazard policymaking process we've seen from the Trump administration, and specifically at the Department of Defense under Secretary Pete Hegseth. We're told that Hegseth did sign off on this pause, but failed to mention that to the White House, which, like a lot of other top officials in the Trump administration, learned about it after the fact. And as we saw yesterday, the president not only reversed that decision, but still really distancing himself from the move, the temporary pause of those shipments, which really does not align with sort of the rhetoric that we're hearing from him in recent days, this frustration with Vladimir Putin and this pledge to Volodymyr Zelensky to continue to provide support to the Ukrainians.
Okay. Okay, so far, let's recap what we got. We got some serious flooding around the country over the weekend. Okay? We got serious flooding around the country. And the only people that is going out to view any of this flooding was Kristi Noem. Hey, Charles, what's happening, man? The only person that went any place was Texas, and it was Kristi Noem, and she's the only one that's been anywhere. Trump hasn't been to any disaster. There's disasters happening across the country, and there's no federal response at all. They keep saying FEMA's on the ground. They send a guy out with a FEMA vest on, notepad. We're here. Have you seen any FEMA trucks, any FEMA tents, any trucks backing up with water and supplies? Anything? Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay? You've got volunteers who have literally come from Mexico. After all the shit they talk about Mexico, especially in Texas, they got volunteers from Mexico here looking for bodies, looking for people, survivors. Okay? Now, over the weekend, that's what you had. Over the weekend, you got floods destroying property and taking lives across the country. In the Defense Department, you got a Secretary of Defense who has authorized an outage of sending weapons to a country during wartime to defend themselves. And he's authorized an outage without telling the White House. He stopped sending weapons to Ukraine, weapons that are drastically needed. We know they need them because we just saw one of the biggest drone launches against Ukraine since this 3-year thing has been going on. And Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, who has no earthly business being the Secretary of Defense, stopped the weapons from going to Ukraine all on his own and did not tell his boss that he was doing it. Is that crazy or what? Is that crazy? So they're on the other side waiting on weapons. Trump, yeah, we sending weapons to Ukraine. Hey, somebody paused the weapons. Who did that? Huh? I don't know. You tell me. Looking stupid. I don't know. Gonna be smug about it. I don't know. You tell me. You know who it is. That fool sitting next to you. That fool sitting right next to you is the one who stopped the weapons. So we got massive destruction across the country. We got an idiot that runs around calling himself the Secretary of Defense. And now he's quick to fire black people and women. Yeah, hey, that is real crazy. It is absolutely unbelievable to just decide on your own that you're going to stop sending weapons to a country that we are supplying weapons to defend themselves right in the middle of the war. Right smack dab in the middle of the war. We just going to stop. Got no FEMA response. Remember, Trump said earlier today, FEMA's busy. Yeah, FEMA is busy. They busy building alligator Alcatraz. That's what they did with the FEMA money. They admitted it. They used FEMA money to build alligator Alcatraz. Now, that's just from Friday to Monday, okay? That's from Friday to Monday, late Monday, early Tuesday. All right, okay. So, hey, what's been going on since then? Now, we've only covered Friday, literally Friday to Monday. Let's go from Monday to today. All right? Let's check it out.
Then his administration is today left holding the bag after a conspiracy theory that has animated and juiced his base and fueled the rise of multiple key members of his innermost cabinet suddenly and spectacularly imploded. On Monday, a Justice Department memo, unsigned, undated, and unaddressed to anyone so as to ostensibly minimize any attention to it, concluded that disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide, and that there was no client list filled with incriminating information about Epstein's associates. In other words, there is no Epstein list. Da-da-da. That bit of news flies in the face of everything Donald Trump's allies have been clamoring for years now. All over right-wing media, there has been rampant speculation about whether Jeffrey Epstein kept a so-called client list of wealthy and powerful associates of his, and there were conspiracy theories about exactly how Epstein died while he was being held in custody. Many of Donald Trump's own senior-most team members are the ones who promised the public that damning information that was previously hidden from them was about to be released. Watch.
Huge story. Again, not a lot of people are talking about. There is a little current of information I'm getting that the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi may be finally releasing a lot of information on this Jeffrey Epstein case, which is a huge deal.
In this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
We have, quote, information that will come out. Not so much. The Epstein list, though, mattered so much to the Trump base of voters that the Fox and Friends weekend team felt compelled to ask Donald Trump about it in an interview last summer.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'd release it. On the how he died part, at least. I mean, it wasn't exactly a ringing endorsement from Donald Trump, but you can hear echoes of that and how he's trying to wiggle through the questions, committing to at least declassifying information about, quote, how he died. Nevertheless, after Trump won, after his election victory, some of the very same people who essentially made a living off amplifying baseless conspiracy theories were appointed to senior posts. Kash Patel becomes the FBI director. Dan Bongino, who you saw in that first clip, becomes his deputy. Alina Habba, who was also in that clip, becomes an acting U.S. attorney. And of course, Pam Bondi became the Attorney General of the United States. Listen to her in February.
This is something Donald Trump has talked about. The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
It's sitting on my desk to review, quote. Now, in the aftermath of Monday's memo, some of Trump's most prominent allies in the media are understandably outraged. They're mad at Pam Bondi and others. Conservative talk show host Eric Erickson is right now calling for Pam Bondi to be fired for lying to the American people repeatedly. Laura Loomer, who's amassed a whole lot of power with Trump himself, is also calling for Pam Bondi to resign, calling her a, quote, liar. And here's how Alex Jones took the news.
So now by coming in and being part of the cover-up, the Trump administration has become part of it. I mean, it's just, you cannot see it any other way. So I just got to the office. I'm going to go throw up, actually. And this only happens every few years when something really, really bad happens or something. I mean, I'm physically going to puke probably right now. My mouth is watering right now. Because I have integrity. And I just really need the Trump administration to succeed and to save this country, and they're doing so much good. And then for them to do something like this tears my guts out.
So that's Alex Jones. His guts are being torn out and his mouth is watering. As for Pam Bondi, who, as we showed you back in February, claimed that the, quote, Epstein list was on her desk for review, here's how she responded when she was asked about the memo during Donald Trump's cabinet meeting today.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant.
So we just played it. That's obviously not at all what she said, but okay. Good luck with Laura Loomer. Here's how Donald Trump reacted when he was pressed about his team, his administration, trying to put an end to a conspiracy theory they invented and fueled.
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
You still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, says the guy still talking about his 2020 election loss? Really?
Okay. That brings us up to today. We just looked at the last 5 days. What is it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. The last 5 days. Today's Wednesday. I haven't seen the crazy for today. The last 5 days. All of this that we just looked at took place over the last 5 days. Okay? Are you with me? All of this, that entire trove of shenanigans, that entire trove of disaster, that entire trove of incompetence, that entire, call it what you will. Call it what you will. The sheer magnitude of incompetence. To hear the governor of Texas, of all people, say losers point the finger to blame. The governor of Texas, the one who spent 4 years pointing the finger at Joe Biden and blaming him for everything that was going wrong in Texas. That guy said, we don't point the finger at blame. Losers point the finger at blame. Winners have solutions. That guy. And then Trump. We still talking about Epstein? Epstein who? Epstein who? Oh, that creep? That creep that used to spend days upon days at Mar-a-Lago? That creep who we hung together for 10, 15 years? We was like brothers? That creep? You talking about that creep? Y'all still talking about that? Says the guy who is still talking about the 2020 election. You'd love to talk about that, wouldn't you? That guy. And MAGA world, they spent, ever since Epstein was apprehended, they spent that entire time with all of the theories, and we know, hey, understand something. Nobody's stupid. Nobody is stupid. We know there's an Epstein list. Everybody knows there's an Epstein list. Okay? We're talking about a guy who was a billionaire who logged everybody that came and went on the yacht, the plane, the island. Okay? The yacht, the plane, the island. All right? Logged everybody. Had to. Guess what? You don't get to go on a yacht or a plane without being listed. Okay? We already saw the fact that they have the plane itineraries. We already know they got them. There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Moving along. So, and we know they done got all the information off the island. Okay? This was just the last 5 days under this administration. This was 5 days. Okay. And the tragedy that has been the floods. And when I was on here last Monday, I said immediately, hey, the first thing you got to do is blame him for all the mayhem during the floods because of the cuts. Yeah, he had a list of his freak-offs. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you know that. You know it. There's no way there's no list. There's absolutely no way. And that is why MAGA is going insane right now. Because the MAGA king is denying them the red meat he promised. He promised he was going to dish out red meat and they was going to get to chomp on that red meat, and they chompers is naked. Alex Jones, he got to throw up. His mouth is watering. And Alex Jones said he has integrity. If Alex Jones has integrity, I'll be on the next freak-off list that Diddy has. Now, and the reason I said to blame Trump immediately for all of the things going on with the flood, because he cut NOAA and he cut the National Weather Service. I don't have anything proof-wise to tie Trump to anything related to the disaster. But I know he has to be blamed immediately. It doesn't matter if you don't have a concrete black and white line you can draw to each item. You gotta blame him. That's the way the game is played today. You can't play the game today without doing that. That's the way you got to do it. You got to blame him immediately. It's automatically your fault. You're the commander-in-chief. It's your fault. That's the game they play. That's the game they play. They throw blame immediately. Immediately. Point a finger, start blaming. Worry about everything else later. And there's no way. There's no way. If I'm Hakeem Jeffries, if I am Hakeem Jeffries, First thing in the morning. God dog it, I'm convening a session to understand what happened to the Epstein files. What happened to the Epstein list? I want to know. I want to know what happened to the Epstein list. There's no way I'm letting you get away with this. Unfortunately, I've been listening today for Democrats to be out on the microphones, on the airwaves, and I put my ear out there. I put my ear out there. Crickets. Chirp, 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 chirp. Crickets. Crickets. That's all I'm hearing. Hey, you know what, Charles? You're right. You're right. You are absolutely right. Trump done burned himself. You know he on the list. There's no way he's not on the list. He spent too much time with Epstein. He was with Epstein almost every day. They've got all of the call logs from him calling Epstein, Epstein calling him. They got the plane logs. They got the yacht logs. They got the island logs. There's no way he's not on the list, along with a lot of others in his circle. Now, Kash Patel went on one of the podcasts. Now, Kash Patel, the current FBI director, has been all over the podcast answering this question. Well, who has the Epstein list? Who has the list? Who's got it? And he kept saying, the FBI director has it. Well, who exactly? Who exactly would have it? You know, we know the government's got it, but who exactly would have it? And every time, Kash Patel would say, the director of the FBI is the person that would have the list. Guess who is the director of the FBI today? Kash Patel. And now, all of a sudden, Epstein who? There's no list. You know, I've been in law enforcement for a long time. There's no list. Come on, Kash. Come on. Dan Bongino, or Bongino, however you pronounce that. Kash Patel's second in command. All over the podcast. All over the airwaves on Fox News. He's another Fox News guy. Had a show on Fox News. All over the place. Yeah, we got to get that Epstein list. Congress should be asking for it, but they not asking for it. They not doing their job. We need the Trump administration to get in there. Once they get in there, they're going to show us the list. They've promised us they're going to show us the list. Dan Bongino today. Deputy FBI Director. There's no list. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Pam Bondi. I got the list on my desk right now. I got the list on my desk. The Attorney General today. I got the list on my desk. I said I had the file. I didn't say I had no list. Okay? He asked me something, but I meant this. I meant I had the file. And when I opened up the file, wasn't nothing in it. Okay? That's it. All right, that's it. Don't ask me no more. Please don't say shit about this list no more. I don't want to hear it. And then old Trump, Epstein who? Epstein who? Y'all talking about that guy? Man, they talked about that guy for a long time. Y'all still talking about him? Man, we got Texas. We got a lot of good shit going on right now. And we got the flooding. And we got a lot of good stuff going on. What y'all talking about that guy for? That creep? You cannot make this up. If I were a politician running for an office and I was on the opposite team of the team that had this last 5 days, I would be sitting somewhere busting a nut. Okay? I would be sitting somewhere giddy as I don't know what. Because you just wrote my entire campaign in 5 days. You literally just wrote my entire campaign in 5 days. Come on. Why am I not hearing any loud noise from the other side? What did somebody hear something that I haven't heard? Have either of you heard anything today from the other side? Tell me if you heard anybody. I'll sit here and wait. Just tell me if you've heard from anybody on the other side. Come out and speak up on any of it. The Epstein files, and the lack of transparency, the terrible lack of transparency. The fact that the Secretary of Defense decided all by himself that he's going to stop weapons transfers to Ukraine. He decided this all by himself. Didn't tell anybody. Trump got caught flat-footed. Literally didn't know that the guy sitting next to him put a halt to the weapons transfers and didn't tell him. And the whole world know about it. And the whole world wonder, hey, what the hell going on? And he didn't know. And there's catastrophic flooding across the nation. And there's no federal response. The governor of North Carolina said it's gonna take tax dollars and participation from the citizens. He already saying FEMA ain't coming. He's already putting it out that he knows FEMA's not coming. He finna tax the shit out of his own people right there in the state of North Carolina, which is also gonna happen in Texas, New Mexico, everywhere else that ain't got any money. Could you imagine Joe Biden having a period of 5 days like this? Could you imagine what the Republicans would be doing if Joe Biden had a 5-day period such as this one. Could you imagine that? The Trump machine would have been in full force. Fox News would have been in full force. Newsmax, full force. OAN, full force. Moody Radio, full force. They would have been out in full force. If Laura Loomer decides to make a White House visit, some heads are going to roll. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And she done already set her sights on Pam Bondi. Oh, man. I tell you what. The only thing Pam Bondi that might help Pam Bondi is if when Laura Loomer get there, Pam Bondi waiting on the strap on. You know, if Pam Bondi is there in position to take the strap on, you know, because I don't know, that might be the only thing that can beat that lip service. The only thing that can beat that lip service that Trump gonna get when Laura Loomer get there is if Pam Bondi standing right next to the Resolute desk in position, she might at least save her job, you know, until next time to post again. Shoot. There is absolutely no way. And the thing I don't understand, here's what I don't understand. Why are they targeting Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino when we know who they taking their orders from? Why is Laura Loomer and all of the Tucker Carlsons, you know, all of these guys, Glenn Beck, all of these guys, the Steve, what's his face? They all targeting these lower level guys when we know who they getting their orders from. We know who told them to squash the list. We know where they got that order from. What you mad at them for? Well, guess they can't go after Jim Jones, huh? That'll be, you know, that's out the question. We can't go after Jim Jones. That's absolutely out the question. Imagine Biden having a 5-day period like this. And the president has not spent one moment going out to survey any of the damaged areas, going out to hug some people, going out to reassure them that the cavalry is coming. This fool been on the golf course. Ted Cruz said, I called the president and he was having dinner. And he told me, we gonna get everybody available involved. We gonna give you everything you need. Everybody available. Guess they're gonna have to go pull some guards out of Alligator Alcatraz, huh? Because them the only folks available. Everybody else gone. Okay? Everybody else gone. Oh, wait a minute. The Mexicans sent people to help. Isn't that something? The Mexicans sent people to help. Imagine that. Imagine that. I guess the Mexicans care more than Trump does. Anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. Somebody let me know next time out, Friday. Y'all keep y'all ears open. Keep y'all ears open and let me know what response you hear out in the world, out in the news world, the Democrats, the politicians. If you hear any politicians talk about it, keep it in mind. Send me an email. Here, let me give you the email address. Send me an email if you send a link to some politician that may have something to say about it. Because I've been looking and I haven't seen the Democrats. I haven't seen any ads. Now I know I'm in a Democratic area, so they may not spend any money on any ads in the area that I'm in. I understand that. Okay. But I look at programming in other areas, like Fox News and Newsmax. I look at them too, just to hear what's being said. Now, understand, let's remember, don't start wondering if why ain't a lot of I don't no, I'm not from O Block at all. And nor do I rep a gang. So don't start wondering why you don't hear any of the MAGA people, the actual human beings that run around on the streets. Don't start wondering why you don't hear anything from them, because they only watch Fox and they only watch Newsmax and they only look at stuff and listen to stuff like that. And Fox and Newsmax won't show them those things. These things you'll never see on Fox. Well, other than the Epstein stuff, can't get away with that because they spent their whole time on Fox News. You know, I do not know who this character is, but I am literally going to display this. Do I want to join your gang? You riding out tomorrow on a couple of guys that took your chain. Doing a drive-by. Now, I don't know if you lost or not. I don't know if this is the right channel for you. But I appreciate the offer. You know, now maybe if they took something else, like maybe, you know, 1 million Bitcoin, you know, maybe if they took that from you, I might ride out with you. You know, I might be your guy if they took 1 million Bitcoin from you. But, you know, you're on your own getting that chain back, brother. Anyway, again, the people out there with the flags and the hats, the only part they hearing is the Epstein stuff. Now, they going to be fuming about that. And, hey, rightly so. They've been lied to. Need me some strong guys to join. Get paid by buying McDonald's for 2 months. Hey, I tell you what, speaking of chains, you off the chain. So is Epstein innocent? Oh, contraire. I beg to differ. Of course, nobody here thinks Epstein is innocent. I think he was guilty as sin. I think he was guilty as sin. You know? And he's one thing he definitely is guilty of getting caught. Okay? He's guilty of getting caught. Shame on him. Oh, he was guilty. So anyway, I'm going to leave this right here. And if you see any Democrats out there that have something to say, I haven't seen any. Let me know. Send me a link or keep it to yourself and let me know Friday. Why was there a synagogue on his island? I didn't know there was a synagogue on his island. That's a good question. If there was a synagogue on his island, that's a very good question. I didn't know he was Muslim. Now, one thing I have heard, but like an old guy I once heard say before, I do not have facts to back this up. I do hear that he was an Israeli asset. Now, and also, he may have been an Arab asset. I do not know. Okay. I don't have facts to back that up. So you are scared to mention Jews. Wish I knew who you were. No, I'm not afraid to mention Jews at all. Hey, what have you got? Put it out there. You know, I'll accommodate you immediately. We ain't scared to mention nobody here. Let's talk about Netanyahu. Okay? Hey, one thing I did see was during his meeting with Jim Jones, he presented him with the letter that he oh, you know what? You know what? I absolutely apologize to you. I apologize to you. You did say, you said synagogue. And I immediately thought mosque. You know what? You're right. That is my mistake. And I apologize 100%. You did say synagogue. And it went straight to mosque in my head. You know, that's my bad. There was a synagogue on the island. My mistake. Again, I didn't even know that. You have more information than I do. You have absolutely more information than I do. And like I said, I did hear that he was an asset to the Israelis. So I did say that. Okay. I heard that he was deeply in cahoots with the previous Prime Minister of Israel. I hear they were thick as thieves. So, again, I don't have any facts on it. So, This is just what I have heard. Do I believe it? I do. Yes, I do. I absolutely believe it. And hey, let's face it. These billionaire types, you can't put anything past them. Let me ask you a question. What happens when a billionaire gets bored? What happens when a billionaire gets bored? Well, one thing, you end up with something called Doge. Okay, brother, in the future it's better to do research on a topic. The guy was Mossad. Yeah, well, again, hence the Israeli asset. Yeah, I have heard that. Yes. And from what I understand, that has been confirmed. So, hey, you know what? What I would really like you to do is tune in more often and enlighten the rest of us. You would be a very valuable asset right here when we're here. So I thank you wholeheartedly for enlightening us. Absolutely. I hope you come back often because you can teach us something. And unlike some folks, I don't mind learning. All right, my man, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate y'all for hanging out. Ragnar, please, my brother, tune back in because I really do appreciate you. Straighten me out. And to the rest of you, enjoy your evening. Thanks for hanging out. Hit that thumbs up for me and ring that bell and subscribe. And I will see you Friday, 7 p.m. Thanks a lot, Ragnar. I think I'm saying that right. Take it easy.